For this problem, we're given data that is not in a single row. We can still copy and paste that into Excel, but then if you do want it to be in a single row, you can just select two at a time and then move them all into one row. So to select, you use the white cross cursor to just click and hold and drag till you have what you want to move selected. Then you move the cursor to the edge of the selected area until it looks like a crosshair, and then just click and hold and drag the data to where you want it to be. Right now that it's all in one row, I'm able to, sort it if I want to, be able to identify the minimum and the maximum, and quartiles, the median, and so on. Now for this one, it was for the mean, the median, the mode, and the mid-range, the 4 different measures of center. So you may like to use the average function to do this. But you didn't really need the data to be in a single row to be able to use that. Same thing with finding the median. The median is the middle of these 10 values. So since 10 is even, you look at the 2 middle values, which are the 5th value and the 6th value right here, and then you average those to get the median. So I can again use the average function here on those 2 values to get my median. Okay. Let's see, 37.4. That was weird. Hold on one second. Okay, not sure what happened there, but I just reloaded the question and tried again, and it was fine. Yeah, so what I was going to say is, while it can be useful to have your data values all in one row, if you need them to be sorted, it's good to know how to do that, but you don't need to do that to find these values. What you need to do, or what you could do, is just paste it in. Also make sure that if you see something like this happening, where all the data values go into a single cell, like that, just make sure that you are selecting from outside the borders of the table. Here you don't see where the borders start and end, so I'm just being careful to go very far out away from where the data starts and ends. As I go to select, I want to make sure I'm not inside. And also another thing you want to look out for, so this is going to, see now they're all going into separate cells, which is what we want. Another thing to be careful of is when you go to paste your data, make sure that you're not double clicking into a cell. You see how now the cursor is flashing there? If I paste my same copied data again, now it's staying all in one cell, which is not what I wanted. But once you have it pasted in like this, where each value is in a separate cell, you'll be able to still use, say, the mean formula, the average in Excel, the average formula, just selecting them like this. You don't need them to be in a single row. For the median, there is actually a median function. The mode would just be the value you see the most, and since, or the highest frequency, and since this is a small data set, it would be actually kind of easy to see if there are any values that are identical, and see if there are, which value repeats the most number of times. I do see 58.9 repeating here and here, so that's probably the mode. I don't see any other value that repeats at all, and certainly no other value that repeats 3 times, so that would be our mode. Of course, when they're in order like this, it's much easier to quickly see identical values all in a row. And then what was the other one? We needed the mid-range. Okay, the mid-range is the value that's in the middle of the range. So remember that your range is from your minimum value to your maximum value. And so you just want to find what is the middle between those two. And we're not talking about a location like one of these values. We're actually talking about on a number line when you have these two values um, charted on a number line, what is the exact middle point between them? So to find a midpoint, that's another way of saying the average of two values. So again, we just need to average our minimum and our maximum. Okay, you can do it like that. You could have also said, well, what's my minimum? Look for it, look for the smallest value. Okay, that is this one right here. So we would say, okay, 16.8 is the minimum. What's my maximum? The largest value in the data set would be 58.9. So I'm going to put that here. And then to find the mid-range, I'm going to average those two values. Okay, so yeah, it's actually helpful to be able to do this, but it just takes a little time to move everything around. But maybe it's worth it to do that. But you could certainly still manage to get the answers figured out if you don't rearrange the format of the values. So I hope that helps.